everybody, and welcome back to the pre-production meeting. This is episode 35. I'm your co-host, Joshua Urquhart, and today I'm by myself with the co-host, but I brought someone special on for you. Dan is in Europe still. Austin is doing his own thing. He's actually got a meeting right now for his own film, so he thought he would do that over this just because, you know, timings will clash and whatnot. But I have a special one for you today, guys. Like, this one we've been setting up for a while now, and if it's anything to go by from our first conversation that was off camera, you guys are in for something special. Now, I have a guest with me. And I actually wrote a little intro, so to introduce him, here we go. Now, I know I say that every time we have a guest, it is a special one, but I truly, truly believe this podcast with this special guest will open your eyes to the world of filmmaking like it did to me. To this day, the best ever conversation about film and the industry I have ever had, I had with this man. He is not only inspirational, not only an incredible actor, the standout, may I add, from my most recent film, Ozmar. He is a good man which I've had the pleasure of getting to know on a deeper level, and now you all had the pleasure of doing so too. He has studied at the Actors Centre Australia and National Institute of Dramatic Art. With those skills, having played everything from the Roman politician Mark Antony to Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream to the one and only Picasso in a plethora of theatre productions, he's now chosen to take the cinema world by storm, acting in a couple shorts, including mine as Prince Loris of Ravania. From Castle Hill High to Actors Centre Australia, Pavilion Theatre, if he's acting, it's not a failure. It's Taha Zonoozi. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Wow, that intro.
I know.
You got a bit of rhyme on it as well.
I know, mate. There you go. How are you feeling, my friend?
I'm good. It's good to be here, finally.
Finally, mate. We've been setting this up for ages.
Yes.
We've been setting this up for ages. It's been in the running for ages. You've been my number one most wanted guest on this podcast due to our first conversation that we had. We'll get into how we met because that's a funny one. But before that, is this your first podcast?
This is, first podcast. I did a radio interview.
Nice.
For when I was doing a theatre production last year. And the worst story,
Tell us.
Obviously it's live.
Yes.
So I got to be there at a specific moment,
where's
right?
this going?
So I go on my phone, and this is why I don't trust navigators anymore. I go on my phone, I put the address in, I'm on time, everything's sweet, I'm listening to music, I'm in the zone. I go on to the M2.
Oh, no.
Now, I forgot to turn off avoid tolls on my navigator, right?
Yeah.
So I was going to be on the M2 for like 2 minutes, make an exit, and I'm there. It was close. It wasn't
Mate,
even
this
too
shit
far.
always happens, yeah.
Bro. So I go onto the M2, and then my navigator tries to get me out of toll as soon as possible because it thinks I've made a wrong turn.
Yep.
So I don't know if I was like, I'm pretty sure this is not the exact turn. I'm pretty sure I got to keep going. So, but I trust it. I'm like, okay, cool. Obviously, navigator knows something. I don't.
Yes.
So I trust that I take the exit, and I end up, I go in this tunnel. Navigator's not working anymore.
The Lane Cove tunnel?
Bro, yeah, the new one.
Yeah,
It was the
okay,
first exit
right.
after Balkan Hills.
Yep.
And
the West Connects or whatever it is.
Yeah,
that
it's got
one
lights.
always fucks. Yeah, the fancy lights. For bear on mine, 5 seconds and then it's just
And
black
it's just-
again. Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Yeah,
So-
that one fucks me up.
and then there's a sign, and I'm like, where am I going? Because navigator's not talking. There's
Yeah.
the reception. And then I read a sign that says, straight for Newcastle. I said, okay.
I've done this exactly.
Hang on a fucking second. I'm not gonna. So I take the first exit. I go out and I end up in Hornsby, and I'm meant to be like in Macquarie. And the worst part, I'm getting texts like I'm supposed to be live in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm listening to the station, bro. I'm listening. I'm in the car. I'm listening to the station. I'm getting introduced. Like after the break, and she's talking about the show and promoting it, and a good friend of mine as well. And I text her. I'm like, look, I'm so far away. And I'm getting and I'm driving. I'm like risking all my demerit points.
Oh mate,
I'm speeding, and I'm getting texts from like my friends, like, when are you gonna come on? Everyone's like tuning in to listen.
Shit.
So it was so stressful. I finally made it. Did
you get there on time?
No. But she had to push back that segment.
Yeah, that segment.
So we played music and talked about other stuff and then I went there and I couldn't find the studio. Anyway, I made it. We did it. But first podcast, second interview. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Cool. No, I had a radio interview yonks ago for my first flash film that I made back in the day. I remember doing that. They're pretty nerve wracking, the live ones.
Yeah, because if you mess up, that's
Mate,
it.
if you mess up, that's done. And I'm getting live messages and stuff like, you sound like an idiot, like I can change all of this stuff. But I've done that so many times, mate. When I was having the meetings with everyone for Ozmar, mate, I can't count how many times this stupid tunnel messed me up. It was that exact tunnel, mate.
It gets you, man.
It gets me, and I'm like, man, these actors, like, they're so good, and I'm being so unprofessional now. I remember there was one time where I was going to get there like 10 minutes before, and I left like specifics, mate. I was doing but meetings after meetings. I was going,
that whole week you were seeing everyone,
literally.
right? Yeah.
And it was like on the way, and I took the wrong tunnel, and I was on the way to Newcastle now, and I'm like, fuck this. And then I remember, because I couldn't text. I was like in the middle of the tunnel. I'm like, there's probably cameras everywhere. I remember messaging Lex, hey, Lex, can you email Emily, tell her I'm going to be late, whatever. And then my navigator's just changing times here, there, and everywhere. Mate, Apple Maps, not the way to go. But still, I still use it for some reason.
So I use Google Maps.
That's what I think I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I got recommended by a cop to use Waze.
It shows you where
It shows you where the cops... It's funny because a cop recommended that
Wow.
to me. He's like, use Waze. And then I'm pretty sure Waze, you can customize your voice and stuff on it as well.
No way.
Yeah. No Waze. Oh, my God. All right. Anyways, enough of our little road rage. But my friend, I had a great chat with you earlier this year.
Yes.
But before that, we met in a unique kind of way. And it really shows how important networking is in this industry. And I want you to tell the story.
Yeah, for sure.
Go for it.
We're at line. I'm in line with a friend at the premiere for Babylon.
Yes.
And we're standing in line, and a friend of mine says, "I gotta go eat. I'm really hungry." I said, "Okay, go now. I'll wait in line."
That's all right.
And I go on the phone. I'm talking to a friend. Anyway, phone conversation finishes, and behind me I hear two people speaking about. Like one person asking the other, so you're going to start casting for your short film now? And the guy's like, yeah, I'm going to do this, do that.
You little eavesdropper.
And my ears go up. So I'm listening to you guys the whole time. And so I say to myself, like, I gotta introduce myself to these guys. They're in the industry, so what better way? So I turn around and we start talking, and turns out, I turn around and see this gorgeous face, and I see Austin.
Mate, stop it.
And
Yes, perfectly cut beard, chiseled your mate.
We
Come
looked
on.
good that night.
We
man.
did. We looked dapper.
Yes.
We did. Continue.
Yes.
Sorry, my friend.
And so it turns out we're from the same area.
Literally around the corner.
We've got mutual friends.
We got muted. That's fucked, bro.
It
I
was
still
insane.
can't believe
it
that.
was insane.
And you're the person in front of me.
Right in front. And that line was so
big.
so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where we met. And I remember I just told you, if you're casting, just let me know, and I'd love to audition. And it went from there.
Bob's your
Now
uncle,
we're
mate.
here.
I know. Now we're here, and you were the first person that sent me a self tape. You're the first person that I sent the brief to get an audition from.
Oh,
And
really?
Yeah, you blew it out of the water, mate. You could have played either of those roles, honestly. And then I was like, the only reason well, number one, I knew I wanted you on, right? And you nailed both auditions. So I was like, okay, which one am I going to give you? And I know because I wrote the marquee in mind for the guy who got it. So basically, I already cast him in my mind. I'm like, mate, I'm not wasting this talent. So, mate, you got the role and you fucking hit it out of the water. And I'll get into that later. But it's nuts. It's nuts how we met. And I think it was fate because honestly, out of everybody, and this is not knocking anybody that was there, but I feel like me and you have connected on a deeper level than most of these people on set and cast crew, everything. I think it's because we're around the same age. We've been through kind of the same things, and hearing your story was really inspiring to me when we first had our meeting at, I think it was Cosmo Coffee. But I think my first kind of question to you in film terms, brother, can you give me the synopsis of your life so far?
Oh, man.
I know, it's a hard one. If you need to take a moment to think about it, my friend, kind of your journey to now.
To now?
Yeah. Synopsis, brother.
Synopsis. There's so many words that come to mind.
Yeah.
There's three specific words that stick out, and those words are the new kid. Because I feel like in a lot of my life, that's what I felt like I was. Because I moved to Australia, I was 8 years old, and
Where are you originally from?
I'm from Iran, so I was born there. Moved to Australia when I was 8, and didn't know any English. None of that. Came here just with my family, and I feel like it's every stage of my life I was kind of that new kid that got into whatever environment and scenario. and that's played along through all the stages that I've kind of gone through. But I would say in a sentence, that's a good question, man. In a sentence, I would say the desire for the new kid to show himself to the world.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
I love that.
Yep.
When did you pick up acting?
In high school.
In high school?
And I fell into acting.
Yes.
First.
I love this story. Tell me about it.
So I was in year 10.
Yeah.
And I had not done any acting ever. Like no drama classes, anything in primary school or in high school. So we got to pick subjects. We got 6 subjects to pick out.
Yeah.
And I had 5 and I needed 1 more. I say, okay, I don't know what to do, what to pick. I don't like any of these things, but I'm going to pick drama because it's going to be a bludge. I'm just going to play games.
As most people do, you know?
As most people do.
Yeah.
And I said, worst case, I'm going to drop it for year 12, so it's not going to even matter. So I went into drama, and it was very different because at the start as well, it was most of the people that were doing drama for the senior years that had done drama in year 9 and 10 as well. So they were all familiar with it. So again, I felt like a new kid going into a whole new environment. And so I went on a trip in year 11. I went on a trip overseas. I come back and my teacher goes, you missed an assessment. You got to perform a monologue. I go, first of all, I said, what's a monologue? This is how you know, like I knew nothing, right?
For sure.
I knew nothing about scripts.
What did you want to do before that?
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I didn't
Fair
know.
enough.
At that point, I was like, I'm gonna go into uni.
Yep.
I'll probably do something like business, which was the only thing that really made sense to me.
Yeah.
Like a subject that I could kind of.
Fair enough.
You know, like
Yeah.
I could understand. No biology or anything.
Nah.
So
Monologue, yeah.
Yeah. So I got to do this monologue. And I told her, look, just give me a 0. I'm dropping the subject literally in 3 months. I'm like, just give me a 0. And she says, I can't do that. And if you really want a 0, you got to at least stand there and not do anything so I can give you a 0. I say, okay, cool. So I pick out this monologue. I go home and I say to myself, like, I may as well try. I got to do this thing. I may as well just give it a go. And I remember looking at the script and I called one of my brother's friends, who's a great friend of mine now. And he was studying acting at the time.
Sure.
And this is how you know. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I call him. I'm like, bro, I've got this monologue, but
I know what you're gonna say. I remember this.
yeah, I'm like, I've got this monologue, but I'm just confused because I don't know why my character keeps saying beat every 2 minutes. I'm like, what's all that about? Like, what does beat mean?
Yeah.
And he broke it down to me, and that
Innocence,
was like those were like how it started, and I kind of just learned this monologue. Went out and I did it and I performed it to my teachers, and there was a poor year 10 girl filming as well.
Yeah.
With the iPad in the back, and they said, just perform to the iPad in the back and don't worry about us. So I performed this monologue, I do it, and it was very intense. It was a monologue called Birdcage, and I played a character called Lewis. And at the end, it was very intense. It was like the climax of the scene. And I was on my knees and I was looking down, and I finished this monologue. Again, didn't know anything. And I was like, my teachers probably don't know I'm done, so I'm gonna like look up a little bit. And I gave her a little nod that I'm done. And it's just like, yeah, just stay in it.
Yeah.
So I do it and I stand up, and both of my teachers were tearing, crying.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you guys okay? Like, what just happened?
Powerful performance.
So that's the thing. Like, I was kind of, the way I got into acting, I got into it it wasn't until I took a step back and saw what it was that I was doing.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. So I said, my teacher says, I'm not letting you drop the subject. And I said, okay. And I went with it. And really, that's when I really committed to myself to it. And I said, I'm doing this and I may as well just learn.
So what kept you in it? Was it the reaction from your teachers? Was it the feeling of yourself, like the sense of accomplishment, or like the marks? Like what made you want to keep going from that point?
The fact that it was so different, and it didn't feel like a class.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was something that I hadn't experienced at all. It was very practical, and it was the thrill of it and the different experiences I got from it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what kept me chasing, and then that's what kept me at the end of year 12. Until that point, I was like, I really want to take this seriously.
Yeah.
And that's when I auditioned for drama school, and then that's when I got into acting class.
Yes.
Which is, obviously very different to drama. So, and then through that, even it got deeper and deeper, and that fire kept burning, man.
I love it, mate. So you're out of high school now?
Yes.
Actor Centre?
Went to Actor Centre Australia, did a program there, and we went through basically all of the subjects you go through in the 3-year bachelor's, but it was like condensed.
Yeah.
But had excellent teachers, excellent mentors, learnt a lot. And it was, and I was going, and the people in the class a lot of them had experience, a lot of them were new, some people same age as me, but I was going there empty canvas. Like I didn't know anything about anything. I did know what a beat was.
There you go, mate.
And that was it. So, so I went in there and I studied there, went through, and then going through each topic and just listening to these teachers and their passion about acting and really understanding what this art is and the power of it.
Yep.
It really deepened my understanding of it and deepened my work and my desire to go deeper in my work and to get to a place of mastery. And that's what I feel like it is that keeps me chasing is.
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah.
You took the words right out. What keeps you going? Is it the kind of sense that you want to master it, or is it the effect that you see that it has on people, or is it a mix of both?
It's a mix of both. And what really stuck to me and I heard was that acting is you are at service. You're looking at it as you as at service to humanity, right? So it's like it's a duty that you take on.
Yeah.
But what keeps me really going is with every experience, with every new thing that I do in my career, and every new project I work on, every new person I work with and collaborate with.
Yep.
It's going to a place that I haven't before and experiencing that. So it's getting to all the places I haven't seen yet and I haven't been to yet, but I will, because I will keep chasing.
In terms of when you say places that you haven't been yet, do you mean in terms of traveling the world, or just an inner acting sense?
It's inner acting sense.
Yeah.
It's just it's painting with new brushes, with new colors.
I love that.
Yeah. So it's and with every experience that you have and you get, your toolbox grows and grows, and it's just getting down and dirty and playing, man.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Once you had those brushes from the Actors Centre,
yes,
you went and took them with you, and you went to NIDA.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I auditioned for NIDA, and they sent out material, and we went in and auditioned and everything, and that really helped me because I had a base now, I had a foundation to go off, and the classes at NIDA really, I focused a lot on screen acting because they're very different techniques and ways of approaching.
100%.
So in that sense, I had something to go off, but also I was like, what else is there? So I got into NIDA, again, learnt heaps of new stuff, and then got to play around with the new stuff I had built in my toolbox.
Fantastic.
Right?
Yeah.
Got to play around, experiment, try this, try that, use this technique. And I feel like it's like any school or any coach that you work with in any professional environment, for me, what's most important is a place where there's no failing ever.
Just learning.
It's only learning, because through the learning, you learn a lot more about yourself in that process.
Yep.
And you learn about who you are, why you're doing this, which is a question every actor, or at least myself, that keeps coming up.
Why are you doing this? Yeah.
What is it? And it's about really trying new things, and there's no failing ever at all. That's how I see it, because I feel like the journey of this, what we get to do, is a journey of discovery of ourselves, and and we got to stay lucid.
Yes.
Because once we move through the experiences, I feel like the industry is actually, I believe that the industry is built to make you better.
For sure, mate. Do you know how hard this fucking industry is? Like, it's gonna shape you one way or another,
100%.
mate.
And I talk to a lot of people, and they say that the industry is hard. And I talk to a lot of actors, and some people complain about it. But personally, I'm like,
if you have the mindset of always improving, there's nothing to complain about.
Of course. And the industry's got to be hard.
Yeah, of course it does.
Like good.
100%.
Because I would hate to live in a world where top productions
Yeah.
and top big movie blockbusters are coming out and the actors are amateur. They're making amateur mistakes. The directing isn't too good.
For sure.
The writing doesn't get you.
Yeah.
So it has to be amazing.
You have to, mate.
100%. And that's what the journey also does to you as well. So you've got to keep moving around these experiences you get to have. And on that journey, you learn more about yourself. You learn more about your art. You learn more about what you want to create. And all of that, then in every new experience you step your foot into, then you bring all of that with you. So...
That's fantastic. Was the transition, because you talked about, changing from your normal kind of acting chops and to going into screen acting, was that transition hard? Like what's the biggest difference between, I have an idea of my perspective between theatre acting and screen acting, and, was it hard to kind of transition between the two?
Not very difficult.
Both, yeah.
I've done both, yeah. And it's just a different medium of exposing the truth. And Denzel Washington says, like, someone asks, what's the secret, or like, what's the difference? And he says, the truth is the truth. So I feel like the only difference really is just understanding your limit of the playground, where you can run around in and play, right? Because if you're sitting in a theater, no matter how big, if you're even sitting in the front row, you're never going to get as close to my face as I'm performing as you will in an extreme close-up.
That's so true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the biggest thing really is it's not toning down the performance, because the truth is the truth, and as long as you're being truthful, then it speaks for itself. But there, obviously, if you're performing in a theater of 1,000 seats, you got a bigger room to play with, and the person at the very back, you have to. The way you communicate with your body and your body language, it's got to be a little different so that it translates that far. Whereas film is here, it can be here, right here,
up, mate.
right? So the transition wasn't difficult.
No,
but it was very interesting learning, and then going and watching films and watching these like and there's little tips and tricks here and there. But yeah, it was very fun, and something that a lot of it comes with experience too, right? So that's it. With every experience or every short film or every class that you do, every scene that you film, all of that, you can again try this stuff, see what works, see why it doesn't work. And with the camera, again, there's stuff like cheating, which you don't have in theatre.
No.
Yes.
And theatre, mate, you don't get a second take. No, unfortunately.
Theatre is right there, baby. It's like
it's right there. Yeah, I think that's why people love it.
100%.
Bit of the adrenaline, the 100%. Realness, the realism of it compared to film, where it's like it's a whole different thing altogether.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes in film, I could be doing something and it feels weird, but it looks completely different.
Yeah.
And that's what it is with the relationship with the director, because you put all your trust in them. I
was about to say, because in theatre, you get the reaction straight away.
100%.
You know it. And then with film, brother, you're left in suspense for a good couple months after the fact.
Definitely.
Did I do good? Did I not do good?
You don't know.
You don't know. And then you have to go on to your next project and just keep going and keeping going.
100%.
But yeah, no, that's cool, mate. So I'm going to track back just because I want to get the whole story before I go into more questions. So after NIDA, what have you been doing since?
Oh man, I've been getting my foot in to as many places and things as possible. I worked closely with a couple of acting coaches after NIDA, because something like you never stop training, or you never stop working on it. So I've done that, and then really pushing myself on working. I love working with great writing, whether theatre or film. On great characters. So I'm experimenting with that, and at the same time, then now pushing to exposing myself to the industry. So working with new people, collaborating, and then taking what I have to now use and see what works, what doesn't work. And, again, there's so many things that being there on set and experience teaches you that you can't read. Well, you can read in a book, but you're not going to get it as fast as if you're there.
I 100% agree, and that's why I say, film school can only teach us so much to a degree, mate. You could be there. Well, personally, for me, I've learned more on set than I ever did back in uni. uni is good for like the connections and like the basics, but mate, there's nothing like being on set, being on theatre, doing it, because that's when you learn the most. You know 100%, what I mean?
100%.
And you've done a couple shorts, is that right?
I have, yeah.
Yep.
And across a wide range of genres.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about with me as well. I just want to try out different genres. Like there's ones I obviously prefer, and you know, but then there's ones that are more difficult to play. But that's the thing that also gets me to want to do them.
Yeah, of course, mate. You know what someone is. You want to go deep into the character.
100%.
Why are they doing this thing
Definitely.
instead of like, hey, here's Barry, played Barry. You know what I mean? You want to know fucking what makes Barry Barry.
Exactly right.
And those are the best types of characters.
Exactly right. Yeah, so just being exposing myself to as many things as I can and every opportunity, and to connect with as many people as I can, just like how we connected. Because you never know what's going to come out, and you know it's not always going in with an expectation that something's going to come out of everything you do, but the fact it's the fact that you have to put yourself out there. Yeah. And it's a business, like I think we spoke about in our initial conversation. It's, you know, there's agents, there's managers, all of that, representatives for your work and your craft. Yep. But also you are your CEO.
You are.
Of your work and your name and your brand.
100%.
Everywhere you go, you represent that. And I think that's very important to me. And yeah.
I like that. And what you mentioned specifically, this was going to be my next point, but you talked about putting yourself out there, right, and networking. And I want to ask you, because this is how we met. You know, yes. We met online, we networked. How important is it to network in this industry? And I ask you, you know, for some people it's hard. People don't always have the confidence to turn around to two randos in a line and go, hey, you guys directors, how important is networking in this industry? I mean, we all know, you know, but for the people that don't know, how important is it? And what's kind of advice you can give to people that don't have maybe your confidence or don't exactly know what to do? How can you pitch it to them? Like, how is network that important? Networking, sorry.
It's very important because, especially, I've realized, like, you go to so many events, you see so many of the same people. And everyone who is a professional in what they do, they're somehow connected in some way, right? So I feel like a lot of it comes down to, even if the networking doesn't get you anywhere, again, comes down to, it's about you putting your work out there. And that also builds confidence within you, and that I've found. Just being brave to claim your art and claim your craft and what you believe in, what you want to create, and exposing it. And I feel like that's a huge step in your career to take, to expose it to someone, to speak to someone about it. And you will find like-minded people where you can speak with, and you will inspire each other.
Exactly.
So it's very important in the fact that not only you can bring out opportunities that you never expected, but also, again, it's a chance for you to speak about what you love to do, especially with people who are in the industry and will understand. And we can give you advice too, right? You never know what you're going to learn and who you can learn it from.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So
I connect with that 100%, mate. I was like I told you, and the whole reason to starting this podcast, I was in this rut of anxiety, lack of motivation, inspiration, and it took me to seek out like-minded people. And that was the key to get me back into the groove of everything. And then, you know, the people that you meet, like you said, it's not always about, you know, most of networking is about, you know, you want to build connections and stuff like that. But I truly, truly believe it's about also, you know, getting that dose of inspiration and motivation. Like you know, like for example, for me, like I was in this rut. I got Austin, and Austin, you know, filled me with this motivation to kind of kick off Ozmar. And like little things like our conversation was that extra dose of motivation I needed to continue on and get the project made to what it is now. So that's why it's so important, mate.
100%.
There's all these different reasons.
Definitely. And you can learn something from everyone, because everyone has such a specific experience within the industry. No matter if I talk to an actor, it's different. If I talk to a director, it's different.
For sure, mate.
But it's all valuable experience, and it's free.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
So if you can put yourself out there, connect with someone, then not only again gives you a chance to speak to someone who's in the industry about your work, it's not only good for you, and you can also, it's collaborative. Like you share and they share. You gain something, they gain something.
Yeah.
You gain connections, and a lot of, again, and the bonus can be that a lot of, it can spark a new opportunity for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
100%, mate. And it's fantastic. You know, I never truly understood how important networking was until I viewed the whole process of this film from, like, put myself in your shoes, like seeing just how we connected and to what it is now and how we have this connection, you know, for future things, which we'll get onto later. Like, just how important, how that little point of communication can lead into all these amazing things. And, like, I'm sure, like, not only were you acting in my film, but you came on the last day as a crew member. And, you know, I hope that you took little bits and pieces away from just being on set, talking to people. Yes. Like you said, everybody has a different story. 100%. And, you know, that, like I said last week, you know, this is my vision, but it's a piece of art that took 1,000 voices to make. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's exactly why it was really important for me to be there on the last day. Because any chance that I can get to expose myself to an environment that I want to work in, then I'll make sure to do that.
I appreciate
it. And that's the thing, like, we're all people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We are, mate.
Like, it can get very easy to think about the industry and this thing as this one big thing. And but at the end, when you break it down, it's all people doing things. Yeah. Right? So if you can just connect with someone, then you can get so much out of it. It's just about sparking a conversation. That's how simple it is. And through that simplicity, there's so much to gain.
There is. And, like, especially when we're all on the come up, that's what's most important. These little conversations, talking to people. And, you know, this little tight-knit community, indie filmmaking community that we are a part of, I think that's a really interesting thing within itself. And I want your perspective of an actor. You know, these little indie communities, like you said, you see, it's like when you go to all these events, it's the same people, whatever. Like when you're on these crews, you get some of the, you know, this old mate Jerry was on old mate Jono's set, you know what I mean? And this, it can be different. Like America, their indie community, Australia, our indie community. I want your perspective on the indie filmmaking community that we are in and your experience of working in it. What are 3 pros and 3 cons, or maybe just 2 pros and 2 cons of this community that we are, or maybe some 2 good experiences, 2 bad experiences of this, our indie filmmaking kind of community that we're in?
Sure. 2 good experiences or 2 pros. One of them being that everyone, it's always great when everyone's got their heart in to gain one objective, and that is to create a film.
Yes.
Right. When everyone comes together, and that's what I saw exactly on your set.
Mate, 100%.
It was so amazing being around so many like-minded people for one reason. There was no ego. There was nothing.
That's it.
There was nothing.
That's it.
Yeah. So when it's like that, then it just becomes a dream environment, dream crew to work with. Another pro I would say is because of how intimate it is, it's so, the work feels so special to everyone.
Yes.
You feel so deeply connected. There's a deep connection to it for everyone. Again, something that your set portrayed. I'm sure for every single person there, even if they were just there watching, you can feel it. Yeah, you can feel it. There's a chemistry. There's something special about it that you can't buy. No, that you can't fake. Mate. There's nothing about it like that.
I agree with you, and I put it this way, like, because it's so intimate, you know, nobody's reached that point of success. It's so intimate. It's small I mean, it's big, but like our set was big, but it was still small, you know, compared to the major filmmaking things. But because it's so intimate, you all are so close together. You're dealing all with the lows of the set. You're all dealing with the highs of the set. It's like a full fucking relationship, mate.
100%.
That's exactly 100%. Sorry, I just had to add that in.
No, yeah. And I would say a point to that can be seen as a con could be, personally, I love when I talk to someone and they take so much ownership of their work and they really believe in their work, because I feel like that elevates especially as a director or writer, that elevates the whole set, everyone there.
For sure.
Right? But with some people, with it being a smaller community with a smaller set or whatever, I feel like when you doubt, it takes one person, I
Yeah.
feel like, to doubt the work, where you lose that connection.
Yeah.
Where
you're so
not
close.
everything flows.
It's true. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So I feel like everyone needs to be there and give it their all. And then that's when that energy flows so freely, and it translates to your work, to what you see,
100%.
like so clearly.
Yeah.
So I would say, I would say for anyone, if at least for me, looking at it, being part of the industry or not, just looking into someone or speaking to someone, if they're not taking, or if they're apologizing for their work, or if they, they just don't. They give a doubt about their work. They give something off. Then it kind of ruins everything.
Yeah.
Whereas if no matter how good or bad, I don't even use bad as a thing in arts, but no matter what it is, if you go in there with the intention that we're about to make something incredible, no matter what it is, it's gonna turn out incredible, because it changes the tone, it changes the environment everyone is in, and it changes the energy everyone brings into the game.
Yep.
Because they say, okay, we're all going to create something incredible, and that's why I'm going to do something incredible. I'm going to do my best.
But you can't blame people, though, for having some doubt sometimes.
You can't.
That's the thing.
You can't, yeah.
It's like everybody's getting, bro. I had so many doubts before in there. I mean, I kept a straight face.
Well, that's the power, right?
Okay,
that's
right.
That's the power.
Yeah.
That's the power because when that pressure comes to you,
You got to be able to handle it, mate.
You got to handle it. You got to hold on to it with faith. You got to have faith.
Yeah.
Right? Because
sure.
I saw you on that last day.
Yeah.
And I know so many people, or just anyone, right? It's so hard to crumble. It's so easy to crumble under that pressure.
Yeah.
And what you were going through. There was a specific point where I was looking at you, and they were doing construction at the building next to us.
Don't even get me started, mate.
So I look at the time, it's like 5:30. I'm like, first of all, why are they still working? Like, why have they not gone home? It's 5:30. Second of all, we're so, like, it's so stressful because we're getting a take. It's looking really good. We're short on time.
Yep.
And you just hear like the loudest bang. And I look at you, and there was this instance, I felt so sorry because you were sitting down next to Connor.
I know
looking
exactly.
At the screen.
Yeah, I know.
And I heard this sound. And all I saw was you just close your eyes. And I went, God, please send every hope and light to this man right now because he needs it. Bro, I was like, I was so stressed for you. But that's the thing. You kept your confidence.
Yeah, you have to, man.
And that helped everyone on set keep their confidence.
Yep.
When you start leading in a particular direction, no matter, you're like, okay, this is going on, whatever, I don't care. This is how it's going to get done. We're going to get this done. It's going to look amazing.
Yep.
This is the direction we're heading. It doesn't give the opportunity for anyone in the cast or crew to doubt it or think the other way. Because if they do, then they're outliers. When everyone has a trust, no matter how, in whatever situation, no matter how stressful or how unrealistic it would be at the time to have faith, then it would be weird for them to doubt it. Because they're like, fuck, everyone is thinking this specific way. That's the energy. Then I gotta go along with it.
Yeah.
So why not go along with a powerful thought,
Yeah.
a powerful intention?
Yeah.
And that's the magic. The doubt and all that stuff, it's always there. And I feel like it's natural.
Always there.
In everything.
Like we said, bro, this industry is hard and it's not for the faint of heart, bro. Like, you have to you have to learn to deal with that stress.
100%.
You have to, even when you're an actor as well, man.
Yep.
Because, you guys are doing take after take after take, and you're probably, thinking, fuck, do we really need another take? But I just got to do it, and you got to keep that same level of, like, intensity and whatnot. Fucking hit myself. It must be hard for you guys as well. And, tracking back to what you said about having the right, tone and right, what's the word? Just the way what's the word? I'm having a mind blank here. Attitude, right?
Yes.
The right attitude as an actor as well. If one actor, I'm lucky we had a good group of actors, right? Yep. Nobody, but it's like you get an actor act up or throw a tanty, that puts the vibe off, may affect the director, may affect everybody, and then it translates, you know what I mean? So I just want to say I'm really fucking lucky that we had the people and stuff that we did. But do you agree the same with the whole actors and stuff?
100%. It was such a good environment to be in, and it created such, even the whole process.
Yeah.
From that first read.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every rehearsal and being on set.
Yeah.
And again, it's something you set out. It's the attitude that you set out that your work was going to build on top of, right? It was collaborative. Mm-hmm. Everyone had a say.
Yes.
Everything, we had a conversation about everything.
Yep.
Right? And we talked about every line, every scene, every word.
Every decision.
Everything.
Yes.
So everything was figured out. Mm-hmm. And also that created a space for every actor, I feel like, as an actor's point of view, to get in their zone and to be in their world, to build on their character.
For sure.
So you and that's what you set out with the whole process. So I feel like it was a great cast. We all got along so well.
We did.
And yeah, even again with the doubts or anything, it comes. You get it as an actor too, 100%. Like you do a take, and a lot of the times, you feel like you did good. You watch it, you're like, oh. It doesn't. That's
and then
not the same.
you have to still keep in the good mindset to keep going.
But you got to let it go. You got to do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like you perform again, talking about the difference between theater and screen. Right. Theater, you perform. The show's done.
Yep.
Right. Screen, you perform. You don't get to see it.
No.
For so long.
Bro. Yeah.
And you've kind of but you're what you're doing. I see it as like you're giving your art. You're giving your craft to someone. And you're just going to let it go, and the doubts can be there, but you're going to trust that it's going to come to good.
Yeah.
And when you watch it, then that's after however a couple of months, or when you're working on a major film, it can be a while until you see what it looks like.
100%.
So you got to deal, and that's a big thing. That's the thing about the industry and what it puts you through as well. Like what I was speaking about, you got to be lucid and be able to move through those moments and move on.
Yes.
Because if you get caught up in it, then it starts biting your work, biting your confidence, and you can't move forward.
Yep.
You're just spinning around in a circle.
100% agree. 2 points I want to touch on. So
yes.
Going back to how, we talked about every decision, like as a group and stuff like that. And tell me, because I want your honest feedback, right? Yep. My thoughts behind that is just number one, it's the way that I like to work, right? Is be collaborative, let everybody bring their own voice into it. But especially for the actors, because I've worked on so many sets where the director is so set in his ways, there's no room for movement, right? And I'm like, it's so clear as day. I'm like, number one, over everything is, I think 1,000 voices into one piece of art instead of one person's voice is just better. Number two, I feel like if the actors have an actual say, and like they feel like they know and they can feel that they're making a difference within their character, then they will be more inclined to put in the best performance they possibly can, because it's their character, not just the director's. And like, I just want your honest feedback. Was that a good thing? Like knowing you had a say in it, and did that elevate your performance in any way?
100%. But also I understood that having that opportunity to work with someone like yourself to give me and every other actor in the set that space was a blessing.
Yeah.
And something that you don't always get, that you shouldn't always expect.
100%.
Because there's a lot of times, and that's the journey that I see as an actor, because you get to work, like I said, the industry is people. It's not just this one thing, one object, right? It's people, and people work differently.
For sure.
So working with people like that, like yourself, and like give that space to be so free, then 100% it creates so much more room and space for you to explore so many new things and possibilities, and to claim your character in so many new ways. Not only to keep it to yourself, but then also have a say and be like, hey Josh, how about I want to try this in this take, or how about we do this, how about we do that. But again, sometimes working with some different people, that's not the case. And I was just about to say that. I'm like, I noticed it didn't particularly happen. I felt there were maybe points where it could have gone in the direction of like, and there was a worry, if I provide this kind of way for you guys to do it, it may then the actors, I'll become almost like a pushover in a sense. It's like, it's a fine line. There's a line. There's a
fine line.
For both.
For both, yeah.
I feel like as importantly as the director and writer,
Yeah.
and also as actors. Because also, personally, it's doing a film, there's so many different things that come together to make one painting.
Yeah.
Right? I also have to know my border. I don't
Yes.
like to too much bite into the writer, because that's I
Exactly.
trust the writer has done things for specific reason. It's my job as an actor to take that on and build art and to create a world within what I've been given.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, when you're working again in a space and with a director that like yourself, where they give you an opportunity for things to be up to discussion, then that's always great. But also, there's got to be a line.
There has.
Because that
you need some kind of like, and for me, it's like, as a writer, I truly believe, right, if the actors can question you, and if they question one of my decisions as a writer or a director, if I can't fully answer that question, then it's like, what's the point of writing? And you have every right to do that. You know what I mean? Whereas if we can have a proper discussion and I can give you my opinion, why I wrote this or what I mean by this, and then you can give what you mean by this, we can always meet in a middle ground.
Yeah.
You know, it's not one or the other. You have to meet at that middle ground.
But is it hard for you? Is it hard for you to change the script? Or to...
No, because it's all about the mindset going into it. And it's like, I know what I want. I know what I want, and I know the limits. That's the thing. You've got to know the limits. Otherwise, you just let everybody on set, actors, crew, everybody control what you want. You got to stick to your own vision.
Definitely.
And you got to know where the line is and how far people can push you to then it doesn't become your vision anymore, which I can understand how fucking hard it is when you get into the big leagues with production companies and stuff, which is money on their forefront, whereas now it's just love. Yeah. Love and vision, bro. Yeah. And that's the difference between the two as well. It's like they're doing it for money, we're doing it for love and vision, right? If you're doing it for money right now, mate, get out of the industry. Yeah,
100%. And
but,
I always think of like, you know, as an actor, you get a role and you plant a seed in you, and you grow with the character and you find the character. But I always think, like, as a writer and director, you have that connection with every character in the script. With every
for
setting,
sure. Especially if it's an original story as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was a bit more easy for me to... Then again, the actors didn't change anything that I didn't think it was a good idea. You know what I mean? And there wasn't even change more so. I think it was improvement. Like, there was a lot of like, I understood your vision. Let's combine it with mine and make a middle ground kind of thing. You know what I mean?
And you're very kind to do that.
Yeah,
you're very
100%. But that's like, if it's original, it's like, I don't know. But that honestly, that's just the way I like working. Yes. But for me, and especially that's something I did learn, like, is where that line is. Yeah. Because there were times when certain actors would try and change a bit more off than they could chew, and then I was like, you know, let's bring it back to, you know, where we both are, and they get carried away. And then the main point is that we get on the same page. 100%. If we're on the same page, it doesn't matter. One of us may go off on it. You got to be on the same page.
Yeah, you got to move. You can move around in the space you got, but at the end of the day, you got to make sure that you're moving in the correct direction.
Exactly.
Because if you play around too much, then you could start facing the other way, walking the other way.
Exactly.
So yeah, I feel like it's very important to have that line.
Well, mate, you were a standout in the film that we are talking about. You know, we did so many of these rehearsals, and you know, and we got to film day, and I feel like we had everything planned out. But I saw you getting into your zone, and I want to know about what goes through your head, the kind of shoot rituals, and any techniques that you use, whether that's pre-shoot or during shoot that you've picked up over the time. What's your ritual, my friend?
It changes every time.
Okay.
And it changes with every character and every production that I go into. With the Prince in particular, what really started off, and when I started working on the character, was this poem on the first page of the book. It was a poem by someone named Matthew Arnold.
Right.
And there's a small part of this poem that the author has put on the front. And I read this poem, and I searched on the internet, and I found out it's a very long poem. And I read through the whole thing, and this specific part of it really, really like got to me, and it really related to the Prince. So that's where I started. And from there with him,
what was the poem?
I don't remember off by heart.
All right, nah,
show
me after.
In this heart of mine, this beat in this heart of something like that.
Okay, right.
And and that's where it started. It was off those first pages and then reading into his story, and then when it came to playing him and on the day with him, what I found was a lot of music. So I'd made a playlist for him.
Where have you seen the BTS photos?
I have.
You with your headphones in,
I have,
in the zone, brother.
Yeah, so that's what I was doing. Like, and it wasn't like songs. I wasn't listening to like Drake. It was
listen to some Megan Thee Stallion to get into the
get
zone.
right in there. It was a lot of it was a lot of it was just like orchestra, and it was a lot of like grand music.
Yeah,
and that's like it just gave me a sense of him, and going through the poem, and there were specific lines, and then going through a poem I wrote from him that I would say to myself, and
so you wrote a poem.
I did.
It's fascinating, man.
Yeah, and that was a technique and something I had learned working with a coach who has helped me so incredibly to this day. But yes, so I was doing that, and that helped me also reset to the first state. Every time, say, we do a take, we go to the end, and then okay, I have to bring myself to the first state he's in at the start of the scene. So it was just snapping back into it. A lot of music helps, the physicality, and also getting into that costume. That really helped me too. Yeah. Because it's so different, especially 100%. When you're playing a character who, you know, in a time, an era that's so different from now.
You got to feel it, mate.
When you wear that costume. And when you're there, and when I was talking
to... set.
Man, like the set, 100%.
Surely it helps, right?
100%. Yeah. Even stepping down, those photos we got at first one with the armorer, and just going through all the techniques and looking at everything and being there and touching it and being on, again, so incredible to be there in a set where we were there. Yeah. There was no green, there was nothing, right? That. It was all there. Exactly. So which made it so easy and a lot more simple for me to tap right in, because I was right there. There was no pretending.
Nah.
But yeah, I feel like the process changes every time. And
that's interesting.
And with him, it was a lot of poetry, a lot of music, and a lot of power.
So with the music, is it just to get you in the headspace of the character, or feel what the character would feel? What is it?
Headspace.
Headspace?
More of headspace and get into the world.
Okay.
It was...
you listen to a lot of like Egyptian or like
there was
Middle Eastern.
A lot of the songs I picked out were actually soundtracks from The Revenant.
Nice. Okay.
So just very slow, but it was because that film is also about, like, you know, it's just so much about the environment. Mate, right?
It's fucked, because I do the exact same thing when I'm writing.
Yeah.
I was listening to the Dune soundtrack when I was writing that scene, and like listen to it on my ride home, fucking imagine it. That's fucking.
It gets you into that world.
It does.
It gets you into that. You can't, whether you like it or not. When you listen to something so amazing, it takes you right in. And I just found it's from the first day, and I started picking things out for the soundtrack. And while I was doing my character work, while I was doing every exercise and stuff for him, I built this playlist, and it was all things that just spoke to me in any way. Yeah. To get me in that world, to get me in that state, and to get me in that era. Fantastic. Yeah. What about the eye drops? Oh man, my eyes are so dry. My eyes, I've got dry eyes. And when you got lights and when you got cameras and your eyes start. Wait, so it wasn't for like tears? No, it was to keep you. Oh, bro, you know I thought it was for tears, because I'm like, that's why someone asked, "Fuck, like, how am I gonna?" One of the other actors was like, "Fuck, I need something." And I'm like, "Go get the eye drops," because I thought that's what you were using them for. No, bro. Because you know what happens, right? Oh fuck. When your eyes are dry, let me tell you, when your eyes are dry and you don't put drops in, because I don't want to blink, especially if I'm doing a close up. I don't want to blink. It's gonna ruin it. That's fantastic. So if I don't put drops and my eyes are dry, what happens with my eyes is, as I'm looking, my eyes start to shut themselves. Right. And I don't want to close them. So it ends up like looking like this the whole time. Oh. So I got to put drops in. Oh my god, that's funny. Just to keep my eyes open. I've got dry eyes. There you go. Fuck, that's funny. So moving forward, now you've done Ozmar. You've done a couple theatre productions. You've done a couple short films. I got a question that's come up a lot, and you know, things that I've wondered over the years,
And I've gotten an answer from some industry professionals, but I want your kind of take on it because this may or may not have an impact in your immediate future. Is, do you need to move overseas to make it as an actor?
It depends where you want to take your art.
Right.
And I feel that every country and every industry is very different with the things they want to make.
Okay.
So personally, I feel that it's purely dependent on where you want to take your industry,
Okay.
the things you want to make, and why that's important to you, and where you can go to make the films like that. There's films in the I watch, for example, if I watch a Persian film, and I hadn't watched, so I don't regularly watch them, but I had until there was a point where I watched one, and I was like, holy fuck. I have not seen this style of film or this intensity, anything close to it ever at all.
Yeah.
And it was like, fuck, like if I want to make something like that, I would love to one day be a part of something like that in Iran and act in, my native
for sure.
language. So personally, I feel like it's where you want to take your art, because people want to make different things and be involved in different things.
See, this is where it's a bit of a predicament for me.
Yes.
I fucking hate Australian shit. Like, I hate Australian TV. I hate Australian movies, but I really don't want to go to America. I don't want to live there. I don't want to raise a family there. It's like, what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean? And I've spoken to some people in the industry, and they're like, you know what? It's like, it's a small pond here in Australia. It's like, get yourself to the very, very top of the small pond, and then if you want to venture out, you can. That's the kind of mindset I have at the moment. What do you think?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah?
Yeah, but I feel like it's if an opportunity comes,
Yeah.
don't back down from it.
Yeah.
Because for me, what's important is also a degree of letting go and seeing where the world takes you. And if you're religious, I'm very religious, so I think of it as God. But the universe, the world, or energy, or whatever, just being open to it. Because once you set your intention, then it's about keeping yourself open and trusting that you're going to end up at the right place at the right time, meet the right people. You're just going to be in line randomly. 2 people behind you are going to start talking, and this whole thing's going to start out, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I feel like there's a degree of that as well. But it starts with it depends. What's your intention, what you want to make,
Yeah.
and where you want to take it, and then seeing where the best place for you to market yourself and put yourself is, and being there. And also, the industry is always changing too.
It is. And like during COVID, that time, the industry was here, mate. In
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah. All moved down here.
Netflix is getting their main headquarters here.
Yes.
Like, you
It was
never
all
know
moving
what
down.
the future's going to be.
You never know. And the industry is always changing.
Yeah.
Because the generation is changing. People are watching different things. You're seeing so many new series and so many new shows coming out just because of all
mate.
these different services,
100%,
right?
yeah.
So things keep changing too.
Yeah.
So it's always, for me, it's important to always keep myself open to everything and not block out any opportunity ever.
It's scary though, not knowing like where the industry's going to be.
Yeah, it is.
Where you're going to be, you know what I mean?
100%. But it's also very exciting in the fact that thinking about what you can contribute to it.
Oh, 1,000%.
You know what I mean?
Mate. If
Where you can push it.
I'm happy to go to America for like a month or a couple months, to film something big, but I really want to avoid that place.
Really?
I do. I don't like the culture. I don't like the laws. I wouldn't want to raise a family there. I wouldn't be comfortable, and I've always said that. And I feel like I've got to stick to my own guns with that. By no means. Like, maybe I get a house there, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know what the future holds, but like, I want to avoid that place, and I've always said that to me. I think it comes down to what you really like. What are your... I think I don't know. I'm a bit of a delusional optimist. I don't really. You can't have a set in stone like idea on where this industry is going to take you and what's going to happen. But if I can, travel here, there, and everywhere and base myself like just anywhere but fucking America, then maybe I can do it, man. I don't know how, but
we are definitely very blessed and very lucky to live in
are.
such an amazing country.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that I believe that your work will take you to many amazing places.
I can't wait. That's the beauty of it, mate.
100%.
100%. And like, I'm lucky in the position I'm in, and you know, family and stuff like that. It's like, it's such a, what's the word? It's such a like a freeing job. Like, you can go anywhere. You don't have to be at this place. Like, you can travel all around the world and stuff like that.
Definitely.
And I'm lucky that's the industry. You know, I don't have to be in America. I don't
No, you
have to be in London. I don't have to be in Australia.
Not at all.
You know, you can base yourself where you want and then go off to these jobs, and you know, it's fantastic.
Because if your voice is powerful,
Yeah.
and your work is powerful, you can make incredible stuff from wherever you are. That's what I truly believe.
100%.
And that's gonna.
There you go. That's what I want
That's
to
gonna
hear
reach
from
the.
you.
That's gonna reach the whole world.
Yeah,
Wherever you make it.
for sure.
That's gonna. If the work you make is very powerful, very strong, and you know what you're making, then a lot of the things will just come.
Yeah. I see. I needed that little bit of reassurance there.
It'll come. It'll come. 100%.
Mate, I fucking love that. And saying that, right,
Yes.
do you need a plan as a filmmaker, as an actor? We're all filmmakers. As a filmmaker, do you need a plan?
Yes and no.
Explain.
Because again, it's the thing of take control of as many things as you can,
Yeah.
but then also there's a degree of be open to let go of the plan you had when something else comes along,
That's true.
right?
Because
Even if it's a risk, you gotta sometimes take that risk. And the stuff that comes that's out of your control, but you don't know where it's gonna take you. So yes, you definitely need a sense of direction of where you're going, or else you're just gonna wander off and
like maybe an outcome or a goal, but
Oh.
like planning that route is just impossible.
goal 100%, outcome 100%.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
very important.
Yeah.
The route, yeah, you can have an idea of where you're going, and you can, you know, with the tools that you have, with the experience that you have, you can keep moving and take it day by day, or some people are very specific. I'm definitely going to do this, then this is going to happen, this is going to happen. That's great as well. Whatever it is, but to me, what's important is also keeping that degree of openness
For sure.
for
You have
magic
mate.
to happen.
You have to.
Yeah, so-
Especially in this industry, out of all of them.
Yes.
This is the industry you're going to not have a set in stone kind of, I need to do this to get to this. Things are going to happen beyond your control.
Yeah.
And as Ozmar said, beyond your understanding and comprehension, my friend.
Exactly right. So biggest thing I would say is intention.
Yeah.
Is intention.
Fantastic.
Hold the dream, hold the intention, and then let the magic work through.
I love that, mate.
Yeah.
I love that. And like I said, we're all filmmakers, right? We're all filmmakers, no matter if you're a crew member, you're a cast member, you're an actor. As a filmmaker, Taha, 3 aspects that make a perfect film, whether you work on it or whether you're watching it.
Yes.
Are they different? I don't know.
Oh, man.
Give me 3 aspects that are the most important to you.
3 aspects. Specificity
Mm-hmm. In terms of like
in like
vision?
vision,
Okay.
right? And each department, right? I love watching films that are just so specific. Everything is there for a reason, and there's every corner you look in the frame, everything's there and says its own story.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Yeah, again, great writing, and always the first thing I look at is obviously the acting, right? And yeah, commitment, because you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
I like that. And you could kind of take that both ways to if you're watching a movie or when you're working on
yes.
it, right? Commitment in a sense of who are you working with? Are they committed? And if
Yes.
you're watching, is the acting like, you know, can you tell they're committed kind of thing?
There's nothing more enjoyable to watch than watching someone give their whole being to a character,
Yeah.
or, you know, taking it somewhere so new and so deep where you're like, holy fuck, where it kind of scares you a little bit. You're like, how do I get there?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got there, but that's where I want to get to. Yeah, that always, because I always, like you would probably, every film you watch, you can't help it now.
No,
But see,
not at
look
all,
for
mate.
mistakes,
Of
look
course.
for, because I try and disconnect myself from it. I'm like, I want to watch this as a viewer, and not critique it, just watch it. But you can't help it, because when something is so good, then you're like, then you want to study it. So the commitment and that all ties in together. The directing, the writing, the actors, everything comes together to make this one painting.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So specificity, good writing, and commitment.
There's a million things, but those are things that came to me. Yeah.
Sure, mate. Yep. I fucking love that, and you need all those three things. I 100% agree with you. And in certain experiences, certain sets, certain actors don't have that. Now I ask you, have you been on a set like that? Any nightmare experiences, whether you're in theatre, film, or to some experience that you've had with, oh fuck, or like something's happened that was unexpected? 3, what would you say are nightmare experiences that you've been through, or that you've had? Yeah,
vague direction. So you turn up, no one's really like, let's just suss it out. Let's see what happens. Cool. There's scenes and there's stuff that amazing things come out of that mindset.
Yeah.
But if that's your mindset throughout the whole project, then it's like, we'll get lucky if this is good. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Again, because it doesn't put that confidence in the cast and crew, like what we were just speaking about before, right? So there's no assurance. It's like, no really bad, and I don't want to shit on anyone.
Do it. Just don't name them.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely one. I would say that.
Indeed.
I would say that's definitely one.
Has anybody like actually broken a leg in theatre on stage?
No, not that I've been there to witness. No.
Cool, right? Yeah. Any have you been with anybody on theatre that's just like forgotten their lines completely and it's just
blank.
Fuck.
And you gotta just.
Have you ever been in that situation?
No. Well, okay. My first performance, when I that drama performance I was speaking about, I forgot my lines.
Yeah.
And you can see it in the video too. Oh. But I just went straight into improv right away. Yeah. I was just like, and it came back to me. But it happens. Yeah. And you gotta catch them
for sure.
And that's the whole thing. You gotta help each other, because if someone can miss their line, someone can even say the wrong line at the wrong time.
Yep, for sure.
Then you're like, fuck, how do we fix this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had terrible experiences. Thank God. But there's been experiences where sometimes, I've had to, and I saw it as my duty to kind of step in and take a bit of control.
Yeah.
But to help out.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because other people make your work look good. You make other people look good, they make you look good.
Exactly.
It's all one thing.
Push and pull.
You know what I mean? If I do a very bad performance, for instance, that's going to make me not only make the whole show look bad or whatever, or whole film look bad, it's going to make me look bad.
Yeah.
If I do something incredible, then even if the show isn't, then my work can lift the show, and also it lifts my name.
Yeah.
Because again, you are a CEO of your name in this industry. You represent your name, you represent your art, and if you hold yourself to nothing but great work, then that's what you represent.
Yep.
That's the standard you have for yourself in any production, anything you step onto. So, there's definitely been times where I had to kind of step up. And again, if I'm working with someone maybe not as experienced in directing or whatever, then I make sure to do whatever I can with all the knowledge I have to help them.
I like that.
So that's one. That's another one. And but no really like bad experiences. Obviously, there's also
that's good, but
work. It's definitely good, but there's obviously, and that's the thing. If it happens though, I don't try and not get too precious about it.
For sure,
it's fucking whatever. You got to move forward. Let's get on with it, right? So there's obviously, again, working with some people you wouldn't want to work with.
Yeah.
Right. But you got to put that aside, and that's I feel like it's a very special skill that it teaches you too. How to put all of that aside
and just focus on
focus. Yeah, because we can have an argument.
Yeah,
and we're about to go on set.
Yeah,
and play best friends in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's fucked.
You know what I mean? And we're at our trailer having a fucking argument right now, and we got to be out there in 5 minutes.
Takes a talented person to do that, man.
It does, and it's a skill that it teaches you.
Yeah.
So there's definitely that good that comes out of it too.
For
Because
sure.
there will be instances, whether you like it or not, where it's not in your control.
No, not at all.
And the environment can be so stressful where even if you are friends or you get along with someone so well, you know, in that situation, in that environment, everyone's so busy, everyone's so fucking stressed out. It's so easy for an argument, for something to happen.
It's such high tension and like
100%.
stress levels. It's fucked.
So you got to detach yourself personally,
for sure.
and you got to
Just
understand
concentrate
that
on the
everyone's professional. Everyone's a professional, and you got to work professionally.
Yeah.
And whatever obstacle that comes your way, just how do we all maneuver through this and get back on track?
I love that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. You said CEOs, mate. You were talking about CEOs. You're the CEO of yourself.
Yes.
Now, to be a good CEO of anything, whether you're a company or whatever, you got to have good goals.
Yes.
You have to have goals that you're heading towards. And you as a filmmaker, as a CEO, what are some of your goals? What are some of your goals that you're aiming towards? Maybe some that you've already accomplished. You know, if you don't want to share because they're too personal, that's fine. Give us like 2.
There's definitely goals that I've accomplished.
Yeah.
And one of them having an amazing experience on a professional set. Ozmar.
Thank you, mate.
That was seriously like such a big moment. And I remember even looking at you on that last day. There was a moment like we were getting those last shots in, and I was sitting down. I was next to Brooke, and I was sitting down on the ground. You were just running all over the place. And I remember, I remember looking at you, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I looked around. And I said, "This guy made all of this happen."
It's fucked.
Right? Like all these, like you made all of that. That started with an idea.
Yeah, man.
And seeing what it, you know, manifested to and developed into was just so inspiring to watch. Yeah, one of them definitely was to work with a cast and crew at the level and working with in an environment that Ozmar set out. Both cast and crew, and there's been a lot of goals that I've been able to accomplish. But the big one is to keep growing.
Yes.
Keep growing.
Fuck, yes, that's so good.
Yeah, like
I love how it's not fame, money. You know, get into the industry, break out. It's keep growing.
Keep growing. That's how I see it. Everything else is a byproduct. It's sometimes easier said than done, especially like if you're trying to survive when you're first starting out. You got to hustle your way through.
For sure,
Do you
mate.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, like a very big goal of mine is working at the highest level with the highest people in in each profession and in each department.
That's awesome.
And it's just that I'm learning along the way the lessons I need to learn for me to be able to get there on that day and to know what I'm doing. And every experience I'm going through now is teaching me lessons along the way. So when I'm there, I too am a professional and a master of what I do. And I too can not only be there, but contribute myself and I have something to give at that level.
And who are some of those professionals that maybe you look up to that you wish to work with?
Man, actors, Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Leonardo DiCaprio, these guys like Cillian Murphy, these Daniel Day-Lewis. There's so much.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, De Niro, Al Pacino, right? And there's so many because there's so many people that are great at what they do. There's so I can go on for days.
I love it.
But again, then Christopher Nolan,
Yeah.
Scorsese.
Yeah.
I think Tarantino's making his last film. But
Yeah.
maybe we can change his mind when we're there. These guys, man. And also, what excites me is who's going to be the next Scorsese?
I know.
You're right? Who's going to be... It's exciting to watch because we're all coming up. You're coming up. We're all...
There's so much talent.
There's so much. And you
So
think
much.
of everything that's about to be made and all the wonderful films and new voices and new faces that are gonna make such a huge change and have such a huge contribution to the art. Like it just gets me excited.
I could not agree more. And like everybody on my set, cast and crew, and I'll name a few specifically that, mate, they could be in the industry right now. Firstly, Connor.
Yeah.
Wait, because it's an upcoming point. But when you see some of his shit, like, brother, this is better than half the shit that I'm seeing in cinemas right now. I'm like, this guy has it.
Incredible.
And I'm like, he could be in there right now.
Yes.
Secondly, the cast. Every single person could be acting in these big fucking productions right now.
Yes.
Hey, Ozmar was a big production, but you know what I mean. They
Yes.
could be. And it's just like, I really hope Ozmar gives these people, I don't give a shit about me. I mean, I give a shit about me, but I hope that it gives people like you, people like Connor, the platform to, you know, see your work in the truest of forms, because everybody on my set, crew, cast, should be working there right now.
Yeah.
And it's fucked that some of these people never will see the light of day in the industry, we're in the industry. But I'm so grateful that, you know, if they don't make it, I got to experience it.
Yeah.
You know, see everybody in their element and
100%.
just fucking killing it at what they're doing. And yeah, I'm so grateful. Sorry I interrupted your thought, but I think we all can, or we already are professionals. It's just, it takes a bit of luck sometimes to get into the place that you are. But, you know, luck isn't, I truly believe luck doesn't exist without hard work. You know, you got to get yourself into those positions to be lucky.
Definitely. And getting yourself in those positions is, again, going back to what we were talking about, talking to people,
For sure.
meeting new people, networking. Because the people, who's making that film?
Exactly.
How did that guy get cast? You know what I mean? Because
connections,
you can be the most amazing actor, but no one knows you.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. 100%.
So, again, that relates to what we were talking about as well. It's that putting yourself out there so you can get lucky. So luck can you know, so you have a place for luck to reach you.
There's no such thing as luck without hard work. You got to work your ass off to get into the place to be lucky.
Definitely.
That's how I see it.
Definitely.
Something that I'm really excited about,
Yes.
and you know, everybody's a master of what they did on Ozmar. And watching through the rushes, like, I had no doubt that the cast were going to kill it, right? And every single person shines. Everybody is at the top of their game. And I talked to you beforehand that this isn't the end of our partnership. That my next film, you're going to be the star in. Right, and we're going to work on that together. I don't have any solidified ideas as of yet.
Yes,
but I know I don't want it to be as big as this one because my bank's still recovering, mate.
You didn't recover.
Yeah, but I'm excited.
Yes,
I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I'm in this weird position where I'm like, I want to write a first draft of the feature for Ozmar, just because when I want this film done, I want to have that just on hand, just in case, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But then I was thinking on the way, I'm like, fuck, man, Ozmar has been my life for the last 2 years. It can be my life for the next fucking 6 years. I'm like, what really excites me is something original.
Yeah.
And I want to have these sessions with you where we can go through and come up with a story together.
Certainly.
Right? And I want to do something emotional. I know that. And I want to keep it shorter than what I've done before, maybe 5 to 10 minutes or something like that.
Sure.
Keep on the same crew, keep on the same, I was thinking they're all part of the crew, like my composer, Connor, everybody. But what do you kind of, I know you might not have the answer to this, but want out of our next project together? I know we're having this first conversation on a platform like this, but what excites you? What do you want? Do you have any ideas, any specifics that you want to kind of try out in this next project of ours?
Yeah, there's definitely characters and some stories that I really want to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I'm writing or whatever it is.
Yep.
But I would say for us,
it's fucking exciting, bro. I've been been thinking about it nonstop since I fucking stopped Ozmar. Been thinking about it more than the feature, which I should be thinking about.
Well, what gets me excited is how you pulled Ozmar off.
Yeah.
And where we can take this new thing.
For sure, mate.
Right? So it's like, there's no limit.
No, how far the limit
can we go?
Yeah.
With this character, with this new story, and I'm sure as we keep developing it and coming up with ideas, then it's just going to keep growing and growing. For me, it's can we in some way outdo Ozmar?
Mate, I was thinking about that. I'm like,
But
fuck, the quality has to be.
That's the thing.
It has to be that there's no going back.
And there's no,
now.
you know what I mean? Like,
You can still do a shorter story though. That's as quality as what
that's
Ozmar
what I'm saying.
is. Yeah.
How
do we do that?
Because of the amazing work you did with this film, and that I got the privilege to witness, then now that we have that as the standard,
I know.
so whatever I feel like we make,
Yeah.
even it can be a 5-minute scene, right? But how much gold can we put into this 5 minutes?
I know, mate.
How much of that experience you learnt from Ozmar?
Yeah. Oh,
Can you bring in,
exactly,
right?
bro?
There's so
Getting
much.
goosebumps.
There's so many things, and I can't wait to see Ozmar, and I know it's gonna do incredible things for everyone's careers, but for you, it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be incredible.
Speaking of that, I don't have the first cut yet, but I'm getting it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I was thinking, this is completely up to you.
Yeah.
I do have some things. Would you want to see a little bit now, or do you want to keep it as a surprise?
Oh man, let's hear it. Oh man.
And if so, do you want to see your performance, or do you want to see some of the other stuff?
No, don't show me mine.
Okay.
I don't want to see mine yet. I want to wait.
I have stills, or I have pieces of footage.
Show me stills.
Okay. And I want to get your live reaction on here. So this is stills that I found on Connor's website. He sneakily did this and like graded it near the final grade.
Yes.
I'll show you some stuff.
Cool. Yo.
So this is a scene of Jared and Richard. Schmick, eh?
That set
Mate.
looks fucking. You know what pissed me off, bro? Those
Indie.
candles.
Yeah?
How amazing is that?
Yeah? No. I'll block it out. Yeah, there. Yeah, what are you going to say?
Those candles.
Yeah.
Bro, there was this one on this table that kept like every 2 minutes. It
Oh,
kept,
bending? Was it that one?
I don't remember what tape, bro. It was so annoying. But
Yeah.
it looked so. Do you have any more?
I do.
All right, show me.
Right,
more.
these aren't as good quality, but you get the gist of it.
I love it when we were filming this, or even when the singer was standing there and
Yeah.
you were getting, bro.
Yeah, I know.
That
Do you
was
wanna come
such a
around
good
and have a
shot.
look?
You got to see these.
Oh my god.
So there's that. This may not even be the final grade, but it's just little bits and pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy fuck! Go back to that.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nuts, eh? So it's not great quality.
Wow.
This one's one of my favourite here.
That's crazy.
Crisp. Jay's dogs. Out in force. Believe it or not, I think we actually cut this out of it, but we're just using the voice. It's more, it's better like that.
When's that?
That's the final scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jared there. My mum.
That was so good.
More.
Yes.
Good.
This one's my favourite one.
Yeah.
You liked it, how I positioned it. These are like little things that I did with the little pop vinyls before. Position it in a way where it directs your eye to where you want it to look. You position people in little things that I learned from Tuesday lesson. I wanted to concentrate more on blocking and staging and shapes that you can play around.
Yeah.
And then the last one.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Sure you don't want to say anything? I'll show you off. I'll show you off camera.
I do and I don't. I kind of want to save it, but I can't kind of. All right, show me something.
Okay,
Show me something.
I'll show you some. I'll show you afterwards. But
Yes.
I think that's good to end here, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on.
My absolute
I
pleasure.
think this has been another fantastic conversation, and it will not only open the eyes to people that aren't in the industry, but I hope everybody gets to see the filmmaking world from your perspective, just as I did the first time, and have all over again. And that's what I love about this world and meeting new people. Everybody walks a different path, and if you meet somebody and you connect to somebody on a deeper level, and you're privileged enough to get the story of their experience, it can only make you a better person. So thank you so much for that, brother.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. And I can't. Yeah, again, goes without saying. I can't wait to watch you keep growing, and
Same
to
goes for
watch
you, my
what
brother.
this film is about to do for your career and everything to come, and just your light and your vision, how that's going to change the industry. And yeah, it's gonna be amazing. I truly can't wait.
I'll see you at the Oscar stage, right?
100%.
Alrighty. On that note, thank you guys for listening. You can catch us at the pre-production meeting on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and the pre-prod pod on Insta, TikTok. You know it. We'll see you guys next week. Peace. Thank you.